If people ask me why I work out, which they occasionally do, I often tell them it's because if I ever met Batman, that way we'd have something in common. So I love superhero comics and films and stuff, and I think that's one of the reasons that I got into working out when I was younger. You find a lot of people who are really into comics, they read them a lot, but they don't try and emulate them. And I always thought, why wouldn't you want to try and be more like Batman? And Batman's a particularly good one to emulate because he's human. Whenever I've tried to transform into a lorry, like Optimus Prime, it has met with disappointment and frustration. So I've done some research into how Batman trains. I looked at a book called The Batman Files, which actually details a workout that Batman might use. In this workout, we see that he essentially does something that looks a little bit like CrossFit. So there's a surprise. He does lots of kettlebell swings, lots of ring dips, lots of cardio mixed with compound lifts, and also he does an insane amount that just physically would not be possible. The only way I can imagine that Batman would be capable of doing that amount without completely dying would be to use steroids. And I think that Batman probably would use steroids. In fact, I think it happened in one comic that was maybe called Venom or something like that. I think he did use a steroid or something like that. And yeah, he probably would, because he's not going to care about the health effects. All he cares about is killing bad guys. Like, Batman is supposed to be nuts. That's kind of the whole point. So yeah, he probably uses steroids. We're not going to go quite as far as him, because you'd end up breaking your spine and collapsing in an overtrained mess. Batman probably would train in a kind of more compound, a kind of more CV mixed with strength training method. If we look at this list, we also see things like lots of running for endurance, lots of bouldering, that's climbing short distances without a rope, so that you can fall and probably not die. I'm surprised he doesn't free solo, which is climbing high distances without a rope. He does a lot of heavy bag work, he does a lot of martial arts. What martial arts would he do? He'd maybe do ninjutsu. This is pretty much non-existent anymore, but you do get some classes. I'm not sure how authentic they are. In the recent Christopher Nolan films, he uses a martial art called the KC fighting method. This is the martial art that they referred to when choreographing the fight scenes, because it's all about close quarters, fighting multiple opponents, using your surroundings, elbows and knees, quick takedown.
Around and knock him out, headbutt him. Why not? Why do a triple spin kick, double loop? You know, why not just knock him out?
We were looking for something that, when Batman threw a punch or a kick, it went through the person like a raging bull.
Of course, Batman would also supplement all this training with like ambidexterity training and grip training and brain training and nootropics, and I talk about all that on my website, where I've done a more in-depth version of this, but as an article. So the objective here is to create a workout that's full body, can be done at home with equipment that you might have, and that will build some of the abilities that Batman might covet, like strength to weight ratio, compound strength, explosive power, cardio endurance, you name it, grip strength, etc. All stuff useful for fighting bad guys. Add this to your workout once a week and you will be a more awesome crime fighter. Maybe, possibly, perhaps. Okay, so are you ready? The home Batman workout. Okay, so we're going to start with some dumbbell clean and presses. This is a pretty safe one because it's actually in the Batman files, except he uses a barbell. Most people can't fit a barbell in their home though. We're going to go 3 sets to failure, 12 repetitions each. We're going for power here. Next up, we're going to mix it up with some one-armed kettlebell clean and presses. This is great because you're doing it on just one side of your body. That means you have to use your obliques to stabilize yourself. And after we've pre-exhausted with those clean and presses, this should be nice and challenging to do, even more good for the legs, for the shoulders, and for the upper pecs and triceps and everything else. Again, perform for 3 sets of 12 to failure. Okay, now we're going to do some neutral grip pull-ups. The only difference here is we're going to use a rope hanging over the bar. This is excellent for the grip. Really hurts your hands, as you can see here, me showing you, very nasty and red. Once you can do no more of those, you can just go on to regular neutral grip pull-ups, or, you know, chin-ups or pull-ups. Batman doesn't mind, which you do. You might want to do chin-ups if you want to involve your biceps a little bit more. Vary the speed as I'm doing here. Do some fast ones, do some slow ones. This way you'll train the fast and slow twitch muscle fibers. You'll train muscle endurance and muscle power. This is the basic concept of power building, which maybe is something Batman likes. I'll have to ask him. Keeping the legs up there just to involve the abs and the core a little bit. So you're using these two as a drop set. Do as many of the grippy ones on the rope as you can, and as soon as you can do no more, switch straight to the regular ones using the bar. Next up, ring dips. This is another pretty safe one. We know that Batman does these too because, again, it's mentioned in the Batman files, which I think he wrote himself actually. Ring dips are great for the pecs, for the triceps, and they are very good for the core because you have to use the core stabilizing muscles. In the Batman files, it actually says, do ring dip training mainly muscle ups. Well, duh. Obviously this is because Batman does parkour, and he obviously wants to be able to do muscle ups onto buildings, mounts. On these 3 sets to failure again, Batman does 1,000,000 with an elephant on his back. Work up to that. Now come the Spider-Man crawls, a competitor to Batman when it comes to agile superheroes. Spider-Man crawls are cool because they're contralateral. That means that they involve a lot of coordination between the left and the right hand side of your body. This is great for the central nervous system, general proprioception, balance, that sort of thing, core. This is also a great isometric hold for the pecs, and it works the abs and the core as well, particularly the transverse abdomini, which helps Batman to not break his back when he's squatting and deadlifting. You can do this for reps, but actually it's quite interesting if you do it for time instead. So set yourself a good goal, something like 1 minute of crawls, rest for 10 seconds and go again. Now wall pushes. This is just a static contraction. I'm trying to push down the wall. Hold it for 10 seconds, let go, repeat. Do this for, I don't know, 20 sets just until your head feels a little bit lightheaded. Static contraction is excellent for building pure power. We're going to finish up with kettlebell swings. That's another one that's actually specifically mentioned in the Batman files. This is our finisher, so this is for fat burning and cardio. We're going to use the Tabata protocol, so that means we're going to do 8 intervals of 20 seconds going as fast as you can, followed by 10 seconds of rest. This is a great way to add the cardio on to the end of a workout, burn more calories, increase your VO2 max.
And voila. And voila. By the end of the workout, you will talk like Batman.